the employees that they had. Yeah. So it means that demand will be lowered. Yes. Another factor influencing labor market is technological advancements. So yeah, technological advancement, there's globalization, and government policies also affects influence labor market. So some of the labor market trends include shift to service-oriented economy, increasing demand for skilled worker. So there's an increased demand for skilled worker, aging workforce and talent shortages, growing gig economy and remote work. Yeah, so as an HR officer, when it comes to HR planning, on workforce planning, you have to analyze the labor market trends to anticipate future talent needs. So you need to analyze the labor market trends to anticipate future talent needs. You need to identify skill gap. So you talked about gaps, eh? I think, yeah. So you need to identify skill gap and develop training programs. Develop strategies for attracting and maintaining top talent. So in um, in an environment where there are very few talented uh, people, you need to have strategies that is going to attract those talented employees, uh, people. And then you also need to understand labor market conditions to develop effective recruitment strategy. You need to utilize data on labor market trends to identify top sources of talent. You also need to develop selection processes that align with labor market needs. And also conduct market research to determine competitive compensation and benefit packages. Develop total reward strategies to align with labor market trends. Yeah, so those are the things that you can actually do. Um, Ai, akaragire kwambire akumvetsera. Amapita ke pa chips wakati. Ulba. Unali banyi before. I think you're tall, right? Yeah. You don't look like you kuti mpaka kufika 7 uyandikira 70 no. All right, now let's look at implementation and monitoring processes to reinforce the HRP. Did we do approaches to human resource planning? I think I'm just thinking that Let me see. Oh yeah, we didn't. Okay, so we said HRP, you determine the number and the types of job to be filled, and then you match the resources available with the job openings. But now we have different approaches to human resource planning. Human resource planning involves the activities listed below. Human resource planning activities include scenario planning. So here, making broad assessment of future environmental factors and their likely impact on people requirements. So making broad assessment of future environmental factors and their likely impact on people requirements. So you make an assessment of the future environmental factors and how they can impact people requirements. Number two is demand forecasting. We've talked about demand forecasting for the past few weeks. So you are estimating future needs for people and competencies for reference to corporate and functional plans and forecasts for future activity levels. And we also talked about supply forecasting. So on supply forecasting, you estimate the supply of people by reference to the analysis of current resources and future availability after allowing for wastage. So the forecast will also take account of labor market trends relating to the availability of skills and to demographics. So you do a supply forecast. You analyze the current resources and the future availability. So you allow for wastage. When you're saying, what do we mean by wastage? Allowing for wastage. Retirement, we talked about it last time. Retirement, those people that are going to retire, those people that are going to resign. So that is labor wastage. And then forecasting requirements, analyze the demand and supply forecast to identify future deficits and surpluses with the help of models where appropriate. So forecast requirements. And then action planning. So action planning, prepare plans to deal with the forecast deficits through internal promotion, training, external recruitment, if necessary, plan for unavoidable downsizing so as to avoid any compulsory redundancies if that is possible. So human resource planning activities. First of all, you do a scenario planning, all right? So scenario planning, you analyze you do an assessment on the future environmental factors, and then you do a demand forecasting. So demand forecasting, you estimate the future needs of people for your organization. And then you do a supply forecasting. So supply forecasting, you estimate the supply of people, but then in reference to the current resources and future availability. And then you do a forecasting, you analyze the demand and supply forecast to identify future deficit and supply surplus, with the help of models. Yeah, okay. And then you do an action planning. So action planning, now you prepare a plan that deals with the forecast deficits through internal promotion, training, and external recruitment. Okay. So those are HR planning activities. But then we have steps in HR planning. So steps in HR planning, we have three. The first one is assessing current assessing current human resources. The second one is assessing future needs for human resources. And then the third one is developing a program to meet those future needs. So human resource planning process. Number one, we said assess your current human resource capacity. So start by looking at the current human resource state to play. So you look at the human resource that you have. You look at the employee number, their skills, the qualifications, the experience, the age, the contracts, the performance rating, the title, all those things. You look at those, and then you need to gather insights from your managers on who can provide real-world feedback on the human resource issues they face. Number two is forecast future HR requirement. So you have done you have assessed the current human resource. So you have looked at the human resource that you have. So you look at the numbers and the quantity. It's the quantity and the quality as well. So when we're talking about quality, we're looking at the skills and the competencies, the experience that the human resource have. And then you do a forecast. You have to forecast future HR requirements. So forecasting future HR requirements, you need to look to at the future HR needs in your organization and how human resources will be applied to meet those organization needs. So you are looking at the human resource requirements. So human resource managers will typically look at the market or sector trends, new technologies that could automate certain processes, as well as the industry analysis in order to gauge future requirements. Yeah, so you still need to understand the goals of the organization. For example, one goal of an organization can be that they want to enter a new market, or they want to launch a new product or service, or they want to expand into new areas. So forecasting HR demand is a complex task based on several dynamics. Being informed and having a seat or at least an ear or at boardroom level is essential if you are to make a correct HR projection. So you need to forecast for the future HR requirements of your organization. And number three, you identify HR gaps. So an effective human resource plan walks in fine line between supply and demand. By assessing the current HR capacity and projecting future requirements, you should have a clear picture of any gaps that exist. So using your HR focus, you can better judge if there will be a skill gap. For example, should you upskill existing employees or recruit employees who are already qualified in their specific areas? Are all current employees being utilized in the right areas, or would their skills be better suited to develop to different roles? Number four, you integrate the plan with the organization overall strategy. So after you have assessed the current human resource capacity, projected future HR demands, and identified the gaps, the final step is to integrate your human resource plan with the organization strategy. So on a practical level, you will need to dedicate budget for human resource recruiting, training, and redundancies. And you will also need to manage buy-in across your business. You will need cooperation and necessary finances in order to implement the plan and collaborate approach from all departments to put into practice. She's not. One and how? You still have 20 minutes. Where do you want to go? All right. Right. I will. Napanga add notes on the step to in HR planning. Yeah. So we said the first step is assessing current human resources. So what you're doing is you are analyzing the existing workforce to understand its composition, capabilities, and distribution within the organization. So what you have to do is you have to conduct a human resource inventory. You have to conduct a human resource inventory. So where you have to record each, sorry, an HR inventory is a comprehensive record of each employee's skills, qualifications, and experience, training, job roles, performance history, and career aspiration. So with this data, this is going to help you to identify current capacity of the workforce. And then you have to analyze you have to analyze the job and job description and specification. So reviewing job description and job specification report helps to clarify the roles and responsibilities of each position in the organization. And then you also need to evaluate employee performance. So you need to do an performance evaluation. So with performance evaluation is going to help you it's going to provide insight into the productivity and effectiveness of each employee. Yeah. And then number two, we said assessing future needs of human resource. So assessing future needs involves forecasting the organization's future HR requirements based on its strategic goals, business plan, and external factors. And lastly is developing programs, developing programs to meet those future needs. So developing programs to meet future HR needs involves creating strategies and action plans to bridge the gap between current HR capacity and future HR requirements. Yeah, so yeah, I think basically that's it. All right. So next week, yokumana tizaka mndani za maisha. Yeah, so we'll have revision and what else? Yeah, tizakumbusane on how to write exams. What do you guys like areas of concentration? Later, okay, you read Zambili for knowledge, not for exams. In this generation? We're reading for exams, but yeah, you don't need this generation. Bye. Uliza? Hey, meso kati ina nojo se. Oh no. Oh, anga just on the same day. Oh, okay. Wow.